Let me start by telling you a little bit more about myself, and then we'll just dive right into questions. And I have a few topics that we could talk about. One for job searching, but also just how to deal with adversity in general. But my name's Rich G. I run the Rich G Group. I've been coaching for the last, I use a Logitech 1080p. It's a great camera. It's about $99 webcam, and it's wonderful. I hope the resolution's good. I wanted to light it a little bit more. It's a little darker, but we'll see what happens. Anyway, I've been coaching for the past 14 years. I work with lots of great people, a lot of fun businesses. I do a weekly podcast with one of my best friends, BJ Flagg. She has New Renew Brand Marketing. She's great. She and I do a podcast every week on all different types of business topics. We have about almost 130 podcasts out there. Go to my website at richg.com and you can check them all out for free. Second, I have over 750 articles on my website. Feel free to go check them out too on my website at richg.com. On the homepage, you can search under certain keywords because you don't want to look at all 750, but you can look, do a keyword on success or leadership or business or problem employee and see all the articles I've written on those topics. So I've got a pretty big corpus of information back there. I also have, if you check under resources, a set of some of the best business books that you'd ever find. I read about 100 business books a year, and most of them are awful. They're terrible. But on my site, I list some of the best business books that are out there. And there are links. You just click on the image. It'll take you right to Amazon. You can buy it. So there's about 30 great business books. And they cover the gamut of business, job search, and career leadership that you could find. Some really good books. I'm reading the newest book called The Way of the Wolf by Jordan Belfort. I'm about halfway through with it, and it's great. It's a great book. So I think you're going to love it. Check it out. It teaches you how to sell the Jordan Belfort way. He was the Wolf of Wall Street. That movie was about him. He got out of jail, and now he's writing books. It is 12 o'clock, so let's start. Let's kick it right in. My name's Rich G. I'm a high-performance coach. What's a high-performance coach? I'm someone that likes to work with high performers or people that want to be high performers. I work with people in their businesses. I work with people in corporate, and I work with people on their job search. I love what I do. I've been doing it for 14 years. I have my own practice. I have locations in Connecticut, 2 locations in Connecticut, Stamford and New Haven, and one in Manhattan, right in New York City, right at the Chrysler Building. I have many clients. I love working with each and every one. It's a boutique coaching practice, so I'm the only coach that works with you. So I thought, since I'm home and we're all at home, I do a live stream. So this is a beta test. We'll see how it works, see if you guys like it, and then we'll move forward. I'm going to take questions on the live chat. So feel free to leave a question for me if you're interested. I'd be happy to answer. I'm also going to talk about some topics like how to deal with adversity. So I'm going to be talking a little bit more about that. So one of the first questions we have is, you have a customer, they still owe you a payment for your services. And what do you do when they disappear, when they ghost you, and they still owe you money? This is a frequent problem that a lot of businesses that I work with run into because customers owe you money and they disappear and they think they've already gotten the service, or they might not have received the product, or they just disappear and they still owe you money. You've done the work. This happens a lot to service people, service businesses like HVAC, plumbing, electrical. It also happens to graphic houses, website design, coaches. It happens to every type of business. There are two things. The first thing I tell my clients is one of the major problems all businesses have is accounts receivable. If you can keep and work with your people to keep accounts receivable down, you're going to have a very, very healthy business. If you don't keep your accounts receivable down, they pile up, you're going to have problems. So you need to put in behaviors that stop your accounts receivable from piling up. One of the best ones is to get payment ahead of time, or get payment before you deliver the service or as you deliver the service. I received an education from an air conditioner repairman where he came in to just service my air conditioning. You know, they come in, they're super nice. They go up into the attic, they clean out, they put a new filter in, they go down to the recirculator outside, clean that all out. They did everything. And after it was done, he came in with his clipboard and he said, "Mr. G, we're all set to go. And if you just sign here." And he said, "Yep. And the check, I just could get a check for $300. That would be great." And I was like, "Well, can I just mail it in?" And he goes, "Well, yeah, you could just mail it in, or you could just write me a check now and save the price of the stamp and putting it in an envelope and going to a mailbox and mailing it." And at that moment, I thought, "Oh my gosh, that's an incredible idea." And I just cut him a check because he just had to ask for it. Just asking cuts down tremendously on accounts receivable. Another thing that I've taught, I had a friend, a client who was a printer. I gave him the idea of when they deliver the final printing to the client, usually the client goes, "Just bill me, just bill me." And it takes like 2-3 months to get payment. You already delivered the printing. So I told him, when you pick up the job, tell him, "If you have a check ready for me, when I deliver the printing, the business cards, brochures, whatever, I'll take 5% off the bill." And it's amazing how many people that was a little behavior change, and it got them to hand you the check the minute you dropped off the product. But I know sometimes clients just disappear. It happens to me. They just disappear. With my practice, I changed it many years ago. I charge up front because I want to focus on coaching, not on the dollars every month. I want want you to succeed. But to help you with clients that disappear, there's 2 P words I'd want to use is be patient, but be persistent. Rarely reach out to them. Just reach out to them. And if you do have the ability to develop a deadline or some type of end result, like if you don't pick up these things, we're going to throw them away at this date. So you give them kind of a deadline that might entice them to pay you as soon as possible. So persistence and patience, and maybe a third one, professionalism. Be professional. Don't point fingers, just state the obvious. We did the work. We need payment. Be patient and persistent and professional. And you're going to break down their defenses to the point where they might give in. And a lot of people feel guilty that they've ghosted you. Some people, there's that 1% that are always the weird people. And I tell this to every business. There's the 1% out there that are just not nice people. They're crazy people. They're money scarcity people. You just have to deal with it, or just write it off and walk away, and deal with the 99% of normal people out there. And I know you're probably saying that it's more than 1%, Rich. It probably is. Anyway, I've seen more people have come on. Thank you for joining. If you have any questions, please write them in live chat and I'll answer them. One of the things that I wanted to talk a little bit about today is how to deal with adversity. Because right now, I think we're going through a little bit of tough time. And what I'd like to do is maybe help you if you have a job, if you are out of a job and looking for a job, or if you have a business. And if you have a business with employees, that's even harder. I'd like to help you deal with adversity. When I first work with a client during our strategy session, I tell them that, running a business or being an executive in a corporation or looking for a job is sometimes frustrating. And a lot of obstacles are thrown in our way. And what I do is I cover the 5 behaviors of successful people. These are 5 behaviors that I talk about in workshops, webinars, and in my coaching with many different things. So let me just dive into the 5 areas. The first one is pretty basic, which is track and plan. Most people don't track and plan. They just sit and let their emotions take over. They get angry. I don't know where the money's going to come from. I don't know where the job's going to come from. I hate my boss. I can't work with him or her. It's driving me crazy. And they have this adversity in their life. Well, the first thing you need to do is track and plan. Start planning out where you are, what's your current state, and where you want to be. What's your desired state? Okay. What's your current state? List it. Because sometimes when you start listing your current state, it's not that bad. Oh, my boss is a jerk. Everybody has bosses that are jerks. You just need to figure out how to communicate to that person. But your desired state is maybe I want to leave my job, or I want to get a new job, or I want to start a different type of business. So I want you to track and plan out your goals, and then come up with some proposed solutions on how you deal with those 2 things. And then track your progress as you move along. Shouldn't touch my face. Sorry about that. Anyway, so that's the first one. Plan it out. Get a white piece of paper, sit at your dining room table and lay it out. Lay out exactly what your current state is and desired state, and start planning out some solutions to it. And the minute you start working with paper and not holding it all in your head, you start to think more logically, more factually about it, rather than emotionally. The second rule is be bold. Especially in times like these. All week, I've been telling my clients, right now, all the balls are in the air. Everything's up for grabs at your company, with your business, with your competition, with your job search. Everything's in the air. And as Warren Buffett said many years ago, when people are greedy, be scared. When people are scared, be greedy. And I'm not saying greedy, but you need to be bold. You need to be assertive. You need to take charge. Look for the opportunities. Don't hunker down and hide in the corner. Go out there and look for the opportunities. I'm telling you, I had a client that was interviewing yesterday and got offered a position. I have another client that's on her 3rd interview with Google. I have another client that just got their job with Facebook. People are still getting jobs. They go, well, I might as well just give up until this Corona thing's over. No. All the balls are in the air. The smart people are going and catching those balls and running with them. So be bold out there. Be bold in life. Be assertive. Take chances. Go out there. I'm not saying to go out of your house, but do things. Look, I'm doing a live stream right now on YouTube. This is fun. I'm having a good time. I hope you are too. So, track and plan and be bold. The third one is think and act. And what I mean by that is once you come up with a plan, think about all the ramifications of the plan, but don't get caught up in analysis paralysis. I want you then to act, take action, actually come up with a list of to-do items. I need to do this. I need to do this. I was up at 5 o'clock this morning testing this because I wanted to make sure that my microphone works, my webcam worked, I looked okay, I got my makeup all on, everything looks great. So you need to think, but then take action. Just get on and do it. So I'm doing it. I thought I'd do it, and it's fine. I want you to do that too. Think and act. Fourth, challenge yourself. Life is a series of challenges. When you have adversity, acknowledge, this is Stoicism, which is a philosophy from the Greeks, that life's hard. Life's going to be hard. Expect life to be hard. Expect that life is going to be a series of challenges or problems that you have to overcome. And if you do that, you're going to accept life so much easier. Keep moving, stay happy. Everything we do, work, relationships, kids, are all made up of small and large challenges that we need to deal with. And the secret is, if you embrace those challenges with enthusiasm and vigor, you'll be a much happier person. If you don't, you're going to go through life as a glass half empty person. Most people fail when they moan, complain, and run away from their problems. So if you find yourself procrastinating or running away from your problems, step back and say, is this really a mountain, or is it just a little anthill? Am I making a big thing out of this? So challenge is another major point. The last one on how to deal with adversity is to open up. Open up. You could spend your life closed down and not interacting with anybody. I don't want you to do that. I don't think you want to do that. Or you could open up your heart to the world and make a lot of new friends. I tell so many people when they're looking for a job, open up your heart, get out there, meet people, see if you can help them. See, a lot of people are like, they're in scarcity mode. They shut down. They don't want people to help them. No, open up and go out and help them. Need a drink. One sec. Try to make a new friend every day. When I'm at the supermarket, I start a conversation with the person checking me out. I have conversations with people all the time. I ask questions. When I don't know something, I'll ask a question. Most of all, just smile. Be approachable. Most people walk around with pissed off look on their face all the time. You need to smile. Most people fail when they stay home. Now, we got to stay home now. But when they watch TV, cocoon, close their office door, keep their head down, don't call anybody, they let their voicemail and their email take over their lives, that's when they shut down. And I want you to open up. There are many ways you can open up. My wife, we're at home right now. My wife and family, we go out for a walk every day. We've seen neighbors we haven't seen in years. So go out there and we stay 6 feet away and we're talking and it's fine. It really works out. So any other questions? I think we've got 8 people or 9 people. Oh no, it's jumped up. We've got about a lot of people on. Anybody want to ask any questions? Just type it into live chat. I'd be happy to answer any questions. I'll give it a second. Let me have a drink. Feel free to type something. Let me talk about business coaching now. A lot of businesses have been asking, how do I handle my business? Because I've had to close it down for the time being, and I'd have to tell my people to go home. These are more small businesses. How do I maintain payroll? How do I do these things? It's going to be tough. One of the things I tell people is go talk to your banker. Oh, we got one. Excellent. Got a question, but go talk to your banker. That's the first thing. I also think they're going to be doing, I'll be honest, they'd be stupid if the government doesn't do 0% small and medium-sized business loans, because that would immediately solve the problem for a lot of these small businesses. 0% payable over 6 to 12 months just to get over paying payroll and that sort of thing. And So I got a question. Talk a little bit about the do's and don'ts on working from home. I'm sure people want to hear. What a great question. Thank you, Rajiv. Yes, working from home is tough. Doing a live stream on YouTube is tough. One of the first things I tell my clients is to set boundaries. If the door's closed, don't come in. That means I'm not here. I'm on the phone. I'm talking to a client. If you really, really, really need to get a hold of me, text me. Text me on my phone. And if I see the text, I can then respond. But what you want to do is set boundaries. And I'm not saying set permanent boundaries. That leads me to the second suggestion I have for people working from home. There's a process called the Pomodoro method. It was invented by this guy a number of years ago. The Pomodoro is geared towards a kitchen timer that was shaped like a tomato. And the whole idea is that if you're working, your productivity is going to go through the roof. I promise you, because you're going to start earlier and you're probably going to end later because you don't have a commute. So you're going to be putting in more hours at work. Second, you don't have all these people bothering you all the time, all these meetings, all these drive-bys of people. You're working from home. You're going to get a lot of heads down work. So your productivity is going to go up. But you want to spend, first of all, you don't want to burn out. You don't want to start at like 6 in the morning and go to 7 at night, because I promise you in about 3 or 4 days, you're going to explode. What I tell people is with the Pomodoro method, they tell you to work for 50 minutes and then take 10 minutes off, or work for 45 minutes solid and then take 15 minutes off. And then at the top of the hour, start again. And so if, let's say you do 10 hours of work, if you do 15 minutes each time, you're getting 2.5 hours of rest, spending time with your kids, interacting with them. So that's one way to do it, is to take a little break and go see them and talk to them about stuff. And depending on how old they are, they'll probably just want you to go away if they're older. But I know when they're younger, they want to hang around you. I had that problem when I was coaching. I'd actually, when my sons would be home from school, they'd want to hang out. So, another question popped in. So I'll answer that one too. But getting back to working from home, set aside time. Definitely plug in a lunch. Lunchtime, I'm going to go have lunch with the family and do things. The other thing from working from home is try to separate yourself if you can. Like my wife is in the dining room, I'm in an office. My son is distance learning from college in the breakfast nook. We're all doing it. We're all on and doing things. And this is going to be the new normal for the next number of weeks. Working from home. And the final thing is try and get out. Like I mentioned before, go for a walk. Try to schedule a walk with the family to just get out. If you have a treadmill or a gym, go down into the basement and work out. That's another thing. Get some physical, but go out and get some vitamin D. Let the sun hit you. That's the most important thing that you want to do, is to get out there. So, and also be patient. Remember, I talked about patience before. You're going to get on each other's nerves. And so you just have to take that virtual pharmaceutical and just relax and just let it go, because you're going to get on each other's nerves, and it just happens. But just try to get more work done. And I think you'll find that you're not going to see a large difference. The other thing, very quickly, if you manage people, if you have a business and you're managing people remotely, or you work in a corporation and you manage people remotely, set up 15-minute calls in the morning and 15-minute calls near the end of the day, just to track progress. And tell people, look, if I need to get a hold of you, I'm going to text you, and I'd like you to get back to me within about 5 or 10 minutes. And let me know, put it in your calendar when you'll be taking lunch, so I won't bother you then. And the reason why I say that is a lot of managers are afraid that their people are going to be goofing off. What you need to do is it's just a little bit more oversight by checking in with them early in the morning and maybe all getting on Zoom or Skype or whatever program you have, Google Hangouts, and see each other and just go around the room and everybody talk about what they're working on. And then at the end of the day, do the same thing and go around the room and see what everybody got accomplished, and do that every day. And people will get into a rhythm. They'll expect it. It'll become part of them. I did it with my team all the time, especially when we were working on long projects. We met in the morning and we met in the afternoon, and everybody became accountable. And that's the most important thing. They all became accountable for what they had to do. So check into it, 15 and 15. It's real easy. It's not a lot of time. So I just got another question. Should I change my pricing or extend credit, or both? Well, let me take a drink. What a great question. It depends on your business, but let me talk about it in general. If you say change your pricing, do you mean pricing going up? You want to raise your prices or lower your prices a little bit because of what's going on, and or extend credit? I'll let you answer that question in a second. One of the things I usually tell people is never change your pricing. I mean, raise your prices. Feel free to raise your prices, but never lower your prices. What I'd say is give more service to them. Give more product to them instead of lowering your price. Keep your price the same, but say, well, because we're all not struggling right now, we're not at that stage, but because everything's up in the air, I'm going to offer a certain extra thing with my services. Consulting is my job. How about letting your client choose how to pay? That's fine too. Letting them let them know how to pay. Extending credit always helps on certain businesses. Consulting, if you want to let them pay over a certain amount of months, that's fine. Have them sign that contract and commit to the full amount. Hold them in like a gym would. You're going to be a member for 12 months. If you stop going, they're going to keep charging you. But getting back to pricing, instead of lowering or changing your pricing and lowering it because something's happening, add a service. Figure out how to add an extra service to it to get people to go, oh, okay, I'd like that. Extending credit, absolutely. Especially if you could work with a company that will, like Care Credit or Synchrony, that has business credit programs, or let people pay in increments in modules. Like I'll let you pay. If somebody works with me for 12 months, I will let them sometimes, if they want, pay in modules if they want. So extending credit, letting your client choose how to pay is perfect too, but you sometimes want to direct them. The other thing I was taught many years ago in product management is that you want to price your products so people naturally want to buy the more expensive one. So it's kind of like cars. When you go to buy a car, the The DX is the low version. The LX has a little bit more bells and whistles, and the EX is like, it's got almost everything. Now they have the limited or something like that at the top. And what they do with the pricing is you're like, well, just for another $1,000, you get all of this. And for another $2,000, you get all of this. And you're going like, yeah, 5-year loan. Why not? It's like $20 a month. Why not? Go to the EX. So they price yourself so people naturally want to buy the higher level and the higher level and the higher level. So, try to come up with different ways. Play with your pricing. See what works. And also, like I said, I almost never lower your prices. Always raise your prices if you can each year. My opinion is always raise prices on new customers. On existing customers, they always get the exact same price that they always do. So I hope I've answered your question about pricing. So I think that works out well. So we're about halfway done. Oh my God. Any other questions out there? If you want, I could just keep talking about a lot of different things. Let me get some more topics. I know I received a few questions about how to deal with problem clients. These are clients that I received a question earlier today. How do I deal with a problem client? It depends on how much of a problem the client is. If they're not receptive to your consulting or coaching or your product or service, there's two things you do. Have a sit down with them and get them to actually understand what the rules are to work with you, and talk to them again in a patient, professional manner. But talk to them, because there are two things you do with a problem client: you keep them and change their behavior, or you get rid of them. And that's the second thing, is to get rid of them. Now, a lot of people ask, Rich, how do you get rid of clients? Many different ways. The first way is to radically raise your prices on them. And remember, I just said don't raise your prices on problem clients. Raise your prices. Raise your prices radically. Make them go, ooh, wow, what happened? Well, my prices are going up. Do you want to renew? No, I don't. Well, good luck and everything. Another way to deal with a problem client is have a frank discussion with them, but that almost never goes well. That's probably what a lot of people think. Have a frank discussion with them. They think it's all your fault and you're really trying hard. And I get this, on average, I coach between 20 and 25 clients at a time. So over the span of about a year, I might coach 50, 55, 60 clients. I'd say one of them are always a problem, that either blame you and say, you're not doing your job, this isn't going. And I really feel like saying, but wait, I got 49 other clients that love me. What's the problem? Do you think it's me or do you think it's you? And I usually get them, I'm going to be candid here, I get them with job search. These are people that just don't want to do the job search process. And they keep pointing the finger at you and they miss sessions and stuff like that. So we all have problem clients, problem customers. So, and if you're empathetic like me, I'm high on the EQ scale, the emotional quotient scale. I'm very empathetic. I care about my clients. That's why I'm a coach. I care about them all the time. And the problem is, when you care about clients, when you do get a problem client, they make you feel really bad. And you don't want to have that happen. So I get sucked into their drama and I start questioning myself. Did I do something wrong and stuff? And then I have to say, wait a second. Every other one of my clients loves me. I'm helping them get jobs. It's not me, it's them. So dealing with problem clients, there's a number of different ways of dealing with them. So cool. So what do you want to say? How about bad bosses? Let's talk about bad bosses. We hate bad bosses. No. Most bosses are not Simon Legrees that are like twisting their mustaches, figuring out another way to drive you nuts. They're human just like you are. They're normal. The problem is, you have to realize that management today is nutty. It's not like it was 20 years ago, to even 10 years ago. Management in most companies they're changing their minds frequently because they're being very reactive to outside influencers, outside obstacles, and so management keeps changing its mind, and then your manager looks like they're nuts all the time, and/or they don't know how to manage. The other thing is that a lot of managers don't know how to lead. or manage people. They just are running the ship and just get your job done and I'll get my job done. So there are a lot of managers that aren't caring about you anymore. That's why my business is doing so well, because I become their de facto boss, because I'm looking out for the success of their career. That's what bosses used to do many years ago. They'd realize they'd grow you, because when the seas rise, all ships rise. So if they grow their people, and that's what I used to do, they would get better, push me out of my role into a higher role, and then they take over my role. Well, no more. Bosses just stay where they want to be and they just run their domain. They don't care about you. So how to deal with a bad boss? First of all, look in the mirror. Sometimes it's you. And this is a hard conversation I have with clients sometimes, is to tell them that sometimes it's you. Maybe you're not meeting your deadlines. Maybe you're not communicating effectively. Maybe you're not delivering exactly what your boss wants. You're not listening. And you've probably gotten it right by now. A lot of it is communication. You need to figure out how your boss communicates, how he or she communicates. You need to listen to them and understand them and communicate very fluidly back to them. It's your job to communicate to your boss. If your boss is not communicating well to you, they're not going anywhere. You're not going to force them out. So stop trying to hit your head against the wall. Start to communicate with them. I had this problem many years ago. I had a boss that they started and I was not doing well, to the point where, like, after about 3 or 4 months, I was coming home and crying, because that's how bad it was. I just thought I was going to lose my job. I go, I can't work with this person. I don't know what's going on. They're crazy. They're insane. They ask for these nutty things. And then one day a light bulb went off and I said, you know what? It's kind of like jujitsu. You're going to, like, move backwards. That's what I did. I gave in and I said, I'm going to do whatever they want me to do. I'm going to do as much as I can, whatever they want me to do. And I started doing it. And guess what? They started liking me. They started being nice to me. They started treating me with respect. And a lot of problems with bosses is based on communication, but the underlying real reason is trust. They don't trust you. And until they can trust you and that you're not going after their job, you're not undermining them, you're not talking to someone else about them, the minute they start trusting you, it's like the sun came out from the clouds. And it's like, and I heard, oh, you're doing a great job, Rich. Oh, Rich, nice job. I just want to talk about Rich today. He is knocking it out of the park. And I'm there going, like, what did I do? I communicated more effectively. I did whatever they told me to do. And they started trusting me. And once that trust, that bedrock is built, you can go back to normal. They trust you then. And they're like, oh, you're the best. You get all the great projects. You get all the things. This is a conversation I have with a lot of executives when they're not getting along with their bosses, because odds are they have absolutely no trust and their communication is awful. Any other questions? I'd love to answer any question. You can think of a business coaching question or a corporate or executive coaching question. We just got one. Any suggestions for businesses that offer a luxury service in getting new customers during this virus crisis? People may rather spend money on food and toilet paper than having their photos scanned. And I know this is classic memories. Great service. They do photo scanning and anything digitized that you need. They're the best. It's very customized. They pick it up and drop it off. It's wonderful. Let's talk. People are thinking about toilet paper and food right now. People are thinking about, how am I going to pay for rent? People are. But there are people that are not prepared, but they have money. There are people that can do this type of thing. So Lynn, I just saw your comment. Go to classicmemories.com. You'll check it out. They're the best. They're wonderful. But there's a certain percentage. If you look at the typical bell curve, okay, the people at the back end of the bell curve, they're going to really be hurting. They're the waitresses, the people that have told, go home, we don't need you. They're the people that are going to need that money from the government as quickly as possible. They're going to need banks telling them you don't need to pay your mortgage this month. They need, the IRS saying you don't need to pay your taxes on April 15th. Those are the critical people. Then you have the average, below, above average, that are worried right now. These people are worried, but they're not going to be worried forever. They're going to be wanting things. And frankly, I think someone said before, clean out your closets and stuff. That's what I'm going to be doing this week, is cleaning out closets. I'm stuck in the house. I might as well do that. We're going to work around the yard too, if it's nice. But clean out closets, have that stuff digitized. Why is it all sitting around? And share it. If you come up with something where we could get all these things and share those things digitally to everybody, all of our relatives, that would be great. So absolutely, getting back to the bell curve. So you have the average people. It's not going to be, unless it gets really bad, okay? Most average people have prepared, they have savings and stuff. Then you have the top of the bell curve, which are the people more affluent. Like you said, luxury service. You need to tap into those people that are home, that will still be buying these types of things. Don't think that life stops. I have this conversation with people looking for jobs in October, November, December. They go, oh, the job market's dead. Nothing's happening. I go, that is not the case. In fact, what the case is most people give up at this time. So you're an anomaly. You're not part of the crowd. And you looking for a job, there's still people leaving for jobs, getting promotions. There are always jobs open that are open. Last year, I placed more people in jobs than I have in any year in December. It was amazing how many people got jobs in December. So stop thinking the way normal people think. Again, look for opportunities. Maybe give a service or coupon or savings or an additional service or something like that that might entice people to go, you know what, I'm going to do it. Who was it? I got an email from Domino's, because they're virtually all delivery, 50% off your order. They want people to buy pizza. So 50% off. And like I say, never do discounts, especially with a professional service like consulting or digitizing or coaching. But with the food industry, you've got to get people to buy and go, you know what? The pizza was fine. What a wonderful question. I like that a lot. That was great. Any other questions? Any other questions out there? I'm happy to talk about almost anything. We talked about businesses. We talked about corporate. Let's talk about job search. How do you job search now? Just like in December, people have shut down. A lot of people have shut down their job search. But Procter & Gamble still needs to make diapers. Things still need to happen. People still need to work. People still need to do things. So people still need to fill jobs. HR is still interviewing. Recruiters are still doing their job. Go out there and keep looking. I have a number of job search clients, and I work with them on a weekly basis. And some of them have come to me and said, what do I do? I said, keep doing what you're doing. And like I said before earlier, I've got one client that's on her third interview with Google. I had another client that just let me know this morning. She went on one interview and they offered her the job at the first interview. She's like, Rich, this accelerated faster than and so she's looking at the offer letter and wants to review it with me later. That's how fast things happen. Because again, business still keeps going. It keeps going. So don't feel that you can't do things. Let me just get a drink and then we can talk about more questions. I know we got a bunch of people on. Please ask questions. I love answering these things. Let's talk more about working from home. Some of the things that I do is, and by the way, I don't give medical, dental, no, medical, legal, or financial advice. I can't do it. I'm not qualified. But what some of the things that I've been doing to make sure that I'm staying healthy is I have a big spray bottle of water with tea tree oil in it, which is a natural antiseptic astringent, and it does kill, they say, the COVID virus. I spray everything down. I spray my whole desk down. I spray a cloth and wipe my keyboards. My God, think about your phone. I wipe my phone down 5-10 times a day. I wipe it down, wash your hands and stuff. But that's one thing that people forget about are keyboards, laptops, and that sort of thing. If you just spray a little bit on your cloth and then wipe it and then let it dry, it's going to kill all the viruses. At least that's what I've been told. So I spray everything down. I wash my hands frequently. The most important thing I've been doing is drinking, is just drink constantly. Fluids are good for you. Stay healthy, and stay inside. Don't do stupid things. I see all these people in other states doing crazy things. Don't do that. This is the time where you don't want it. It's funny. It's like there's like 80 to 85% of people that are going to get this it's going to be mild. It's going to be a fever, headaches, aches and pains, sore throat, and a cough. Okay. It's going to be like the typical flu. That's what I've been reading. You don't want that. I don't want that. It sucks when you're sick. So just practice good behaviors around your desk, around, try to stay 6 feet away. Go for a walk every day. Geez, just get outside. I tell this to people when there isn't a shutdown. When you're a corporate, go outside, go for a walk, 5-10 minutes in one direction, turn around and come back. I always used to eat lunch. We'd get a lunch hour. I'd eat lunch with someone in 15 minutes and we'd go out for a walk for 45 minutes. I'd come back with more energy than a venti cappuccino. I'd be able to attack the rest of the day by just doing that one walk every day. Even if it was cold out, just bundle up, you're fine. So get outside. That's another thing. Talk with friends. Try to do webcam more than you can. Phone is fine. If you're a business, if you're an executive, and if you're in job search, definitely call people on your contact list. Check in with them, how they're doing and stuff like that. Just got another question. Are there signs you would recommend to watch out for to decide to look for a new job? Oh, what a great question. Thank you for asking that one, Nina. Okay, here you go. There are lots of signs to look for. I always tell people, I have an article. Go on my website under articles. There's a article I wrote. It says how to develop your bug out bag for your career. Most people don't know what a bug out bag is. A bug out bag is used by reporters. They keep a piece of luggage right by their desk in case their producer comes and says, you're going to Israel. And catch a plane, go. They grab that bag that's all packed and ready to go, and they run and catch a plane because something bad or good happened there. Bug out bag is also for like preppers, like if you're in an area that can get flooded or earthquakes. Some people have bug out bags by their front door just to grab it, throw it in the car, and get the heck out. So I teach people to have a bug out bag for your career. And what that means is get your resume ready. Start to have all these things in place. But here are some things to watch out for to decide. Are there signs you would recommend to watch out for to decide to look for a new job? Number one, your boss changes their behavior towards you. Suddenly, they're not talking to you as much. They're canceling meetings with you. Things start changing. You're getting a lot more no's than yeses. I usually say people, there's a wave that happens throughout the company, and you'll feel it. You'll be like, something weird's going on. You'll even say that to yourself or to one of your colleagues. Something weird's going on. People just aren't. Your projects aren't getting approved, or your deadlines are getting extended or canceled. And again, your boss isn't talking to you as much. That's a major sign that you should start looking for a new job. At the very least, you're preparing. It's insurance to look. So I always tell people, you should always be looking. I promise you, if your boss is always looking, their boss is always looking. They're always having lunch with recruiters. They're meeting colleagues. They're always seeing what's out there. Years ago, I used to say it's good for you to move jobs every 5 years. I'm now saying every 3 years. If you want to have a successful career and keep moving up. Now, I'm saying if everything's great at work and you keep moving up at work and getting raises and promotions and the best projects and departments to work with and larger teams, don't go anywhere. But if things start staying the same, it's a good idea to start moving every 3 years. And the way that I say it is, the first year, you're learning the job. You're learning how it works, who to work with, who not to work with, how to do your job, and knock it out of the park. The second year is to make some wins, to start delivering on some major projects or initiatives or services or something. So your second year is performance. So the first one is learning. The second one is performance. And the third one is starting to look for the new job. And I'm not saying immediately, but over the years, start to have more lunches with people outside of the company. Start going to events, conferences, meetings. If you're a woman, and I'm not being gender specific here, but women are so good at networking nowadays. They have so many meetings everywhere. The women executives of New York and stuff like that. Go to those things. Interact with people. People need to find you. So get out there and meet people. So if you start smelling, your 360-degree antenna starts getting signals that things aren't right, start looking for a new job. So start looking at that. Another reason to start looking is if you're passed over for promotion. That's another reason. You thought it was you, you're totally qualified, and you didn't get it. Unless there are more opportunities there or things, get out of there. There are too many other companies to go work for. Go work for another company. Another reason that I talk to clients to maybe start looking for a new job is when you start to see the company start to go down. They're not going up anymore. You start seeing money become scarce. You start seeing regular layoffs happening every year. It's like, okay, it's the year of the layoffs. That's another reason to start looking for a job. Another one is, this is the time for reviews. People are having reviews January, February, March. And then they finally give you your bonus in like April, May. I don't know why they do that, but they give you your review. If you get a bad review and you thought you got a good review, you should have gotten a good one, and you argue with your boss, they still give you a bad one, it's time to look for a new job, because something's not communicating well. Either they've been told, and this sometimes is the bellwether, the canary in the coal mine that tells you, start looking for a job. They're starting to tell you you're not valued here. And a bad review is a interesting way to do it. Many years ago, I got a bad review from my boss and I kind of fluffed it off. And then 2 months later, he had a lunch with me and handed me a PIP, a performance improvement plan letter. And that scared the hell out of me. I got out of there very quickly before they could do anything. So thank you. And Classic Memories, absolutely correct. Layoffs and poor sales are signs to be concerned. Absolutely. Always keep an eye on, you want to be in a company that's growing nowadays, and there are a lot of them out there. Just got to find the right ones. The second is don't be afraid to jump ship. This is not a marriage. You're not married to your company. You're not getting a divorce. I tell people to think of themselves as Rich G LLC. I'm a consultancy and this is a gig and I'm here for about 3 years and then I'm moving on to another company. And if you think that way, you start to look at your company in a more critical manner and how they're going to do it. So Nita, good luck. Good luck with everything. Definitely, I would say if you're not happy or things are happening, there's so many great companies out there. Just make yourself sellable and people will die for you. It's great. It's wonderful. It's great out there right now. What are we doing? We got about 5 minutes left. I don't know how you guys liked it. I loved it. This was great. I really enjoyed it. Unless anybody has any other questions that I could sneak in. And this has been great. A lot of great questions. And I'm a natural blabbermouth, so I could talk forever. But definitely, I'm going to probably end up doing this again next week, same time, unless I'm doing something, but I don't think so. My calendar is pretty open. Wednesdays are open for me. I probably will do it at noontime. I'd love you to let me know how you liked it. I'd like to maybe do this as weekly because honestly, this doesn't really cost me anything. YouTube's not charging me. I'd love to do this to help people. So let me know. Email me at richgee, RICHGEE at richg.com. I'd love to hear how you liked it, what you didn't like. I tried to keep my eye on the camera the entire time and talk right to you. I hope everything looked good. The sound was good. I hope I answered the questions okay. Just let me know how it is. If you're interested in coaching, a lot of people are afraid of coaching because they don't know how much it costs or anything. I offer a free coaching session, and I mean free. You get a full hour with me, and I talk about myself for about the first 5 minutes, and then the rest of the time, we're talking about you. I want you to test drive coaching. So if you're interested in coaching, just go to richgee.com, my website, RICHGEE.com, and click the red button and fill out the form, and we'll schedule a free hour for you. I give free hours because most people don't know what high performance coaching is and how I get you to be a high performer. And then suddenly you're happier at work, you spend more time with your family, and you make a lot more money. So anyway, it's been a real pleasure answering your questions. This has been a lot of fun. I had a great time. My throat's a little dry, but I'm going to drink a lot more. But go have lunch, enjoy, and I look forward to talking to you guys next week. Catch you later. How do I turn this off? Oh, down here. Catch you later.